Hi everybody, welcome to Tangle 24. So with the demo and retro out of the way, I'm going to do a little bit of the other ceremonies. So in particular, I'm going to try a little product planning, product refinement, and backlog grooming, and then move right into sprint planning. So I can do this because I'm one person. So back when we created our first two epics, I didn't have the understanding of the app that I do now. I've had some ideas since I started. So I'm going to put a couple of these in right off the bat. These have to do with page within a page. I want to be able to, for every episode, I want to be able to look at the video and the transcript from the video, and then also look at a specially written chapter, and also look at step by step. So you can just go through anything that's discussed, point by point. I'm going to create another epic here. I'm going to call it automated infrastructure. So all of these things together should allow pulling to a branch and having it kick off automated CI/CD, which will create the AWS network database ECS domain and certificate configuration for any environment that we want, really on demand. Now let's create the tickets in Jira and update this list with links. So I've made all the tickets. A good question that you might have at this point is, why are we putting this in a page in Confluence, especially now that we have all these links here? And we also have this in here. Why can't we just use this one? And the answer is, you certainly can. Traditionally, Confluence is used for people who are in the product side of things. And this is the first step of refinement. Usually you'll have a lot more information here. Sometimes you'll have a page for each one of these. And just remember that Confluence is the place to put things that last, and Jira is the place to put things that go away. So, or at least go into code. Anyway, so we'll just move forward with these two different views of the same thing and see how they diverge or how things can be useful. There's also ways that you can kind of roll things up into Confluence pages from Jira more easily. I'm just being very explicit right now. So that concludes the product planning portion of the cadence. So now we're going to just go straight into product refinement. Product planning is what do we want to do, and product refinement is how do we want to do it. Most of these are pretty straightforward and don't need any new UI, but the new ones do. I'm just going to open up Balsamiq and make some changes to show this 3-tab entry scheme. Now I'm also going to need a place to put comments and tags. Okay. This is good enough for now. I'm not going to do different views of these two because they're going to be pretty similar. So now the next step is to start filling out these tickets. I already wrote the descriptions, but I need to put in some gherkin. And looking at this now, these two stories right here, category and contents. Originally I thought there was going to be kind of a more table of contents view of this, but with the website being so episode based, I don't really think we need it. So I'm going to push those off to later and deprioritize them. All right, these are the canned priorities that come, I guess, now with Jira Cloud. I need to change these to be something more useful for software development. Okay, I gotta give myself Jira admin access. All right, priorities are down in issues, and it's pretty much all the way down here. Here's priorities. Having strong and well-defined priorities is one of the best tools for managing work in Jira. So this is too fuzzy. So we're going to use some commonly defined priority types. So the first one is going to be blocker. So let's pick a different image. This one here. Okay, so 5 priorities, and the definitions are pretty clear here. So blocker is typically something that is either holding up other developers or is causing reputation risk on a live website. So that needs to be just everything that you're working on. You have to stop and then work on this and get it done, hopefully the same day. Critical is, absolutely needs to be done before a release. Major is just your normal priority level without any changes. Minor is doesn't have to get done before the next release, and optional is something that you do only if you have really nothing else to work on, or you're blocked in some way and you can do optionals. So the beauty here is if you use these priorities and you have the discipline to not make everything blocker or critical, which is a lot of time what clients want to do. um, it should be kind of like a bell curve in terms of how many issues that you have with all of these. So priority currently is down here, and this was already marked optional. And this one. Okay, good. So let's check the rest of these stories. It looks like I wrote the descriptions for most of them. All right, so I still have to write them for these 3. Come to think of it, this isn't really its own story because it's handled in the switching one. Let's make this. Okay. So I've given the details for all of these stories. Actually, I think I didn't do this. Okay. I need to do these 2. Okay, this concludes product refinement, and then it goes over to backlog grooming, which now it includes the Scrum Master and the technical lead so that they can break down the stories a little bit more. And this will typically involve writing Gherkin. This one and this one are API calls, so I'm just going to copy that Gherkin, and likewise, this one is pretty close. It's a little different. Um, Sometimes it can be tricky deciding whether to put new things in an existing feature file or to create a new one. I think in this case, because we're doing the same background and the same display entry for the comments and the tags, then we'll just put the comments and tag stuff down at the bottom of this. Okay, so first I'm going to change the mockup a little tiny bit here. Something like that. So let's go through this. Add a comment. User clicks add comment, which is here. And then an editor is displayed, so you'll see some place where you can type a comment. And then user types a comment and clicks save. And then the comment is there in the list. Add multiple comment, basically do the same thing we just talked about, but do it 2 more times. Check the comment list and then see if it has 3 entries. Edit comment, add a new comment, click edit, which is here. And then you'll see a row editor displayed, and then change it to something else, click save, and then make sure that the something else is displayed. Remove comment, you click remove, and then it should show removed. And then you check to see that it does not have that comment anymore. Restore comment, do the same thing, but click the restore button, which will be there when removed is showing. And then you can see the old comment. Add a comment and start to make a change, but then click cancel, and then the change should not be showing. So these are all the comment related ones. Let's do the tag ones now. So for tag, I'm going to have to add some data up here. Okay, I'm not going to get too complicated here until I get the in-place editing done for entries. So we'll just leave it with a static tag showing. Okay, so let me just go through and make sure that these API calls are good. Okay, one final read through. So the API for comment bean. So this is a new thing in our course, which is 2 database entities that are related to each other. So entries contain comments. So in the background, we add our entries, and then for one of those entries, we add 3 comments with these fields. You'll notice for post date, we have this form, which is basically just the date with a T and then the time. Our first test is to get a comment. And now, because comments really don't exist on their own, we want to get a comment from this entry, make sure that it matches this information here, get the full comment list, and we get the comment list from this entry and check the length. Then we add a new comment and we get the comment list again and make sure the length is 4. And then we put the comment, if we first get the first comment and change the author, update it, get the comment again, and make sure that the author is Kiwi just to see that it's saved to the database. And then we delete the first comment from here, and then get the comment list and make sure that the length is 2 instead of 3. So I'm happy with this. I'm going to put it into the ticket. All right, now let's double check tag bean. This is going to be almost identical to comment bean, so I'm going to grab this and just replace this here. Okay, so I won't go over this because it's nearly the same as the other one, just with different fields. Okay, for entry view, I'm going to add these and then make a comment that it goes at the bottom. So we have this one to add gherkin to, but I'm going to make this a lower priority. Same with this one. So we'll put the other people author features in later. We just have these 3, which are a priority. So these 2 are, it's either there or it's not. Even the markdown one, I mean, we can test to make sure that markdown works here, but most of the behavior is going to be here in the switching ticket. The test needs to be that I click each one of these tabs and I see something different down here. That means we need to change entities to have these 3 different kinds of content. All right, let's go to the gherkin entry view. So right now we have a body. Let's move it to the end and then create 3 different kinds of body. So I'll make the chapter tab the default so that all of these tests are going to work. For the markdown, I'm just going to put some really simple markdown. For those that don't know, markdown is a way of doing very simple text formatting. So you'd have, like this in front of something to make it a header 1 and so forth, and bold and these kinds of things. So okay, that should be good enough. Let's put these in the tickets. That's all the backlog grooming that I want to do. So next time I'm going to do sprint planning, introducing something called planning poker, and then we'll begin the sprint. Thanks for listening.